He kind of got back to playing the way he was, had been playing for the prior few weeks. His feet were in great shape. He was really slowed down, like we can, continue to emphasize. And I think that the one thing that really popped out to me was the accuracy. On some of the throws that he made, over the middle specifically, some of those in-breaking routes, I thought he was extremely accurate on. Thinking about the one to Chauncey Magwood on the third down that he threw, it might look like an easy throw, but that's a throw that typically he's kind of roped in there at times. And he put some good touch on it, hit Chauncey right in the numbers. And I just thought he played extremely under control as a quarterback. And obviously the physical aspect of him competing and just being who he is also showed up. And that was something that we wanted to try to get involved with, some quarterback runs. And he did a great job of extending plays, but I thought he really played the position really well the other night.
Liam, as an offense, I don't believe you all had a play of 40-plus yards and set string on Wandell in the Florida game. How big is that to you all? Do you all stress that? Let's try and go out and get some big plays, or is it kind of just you got to be patient and they'll come?
Yeah, I think we probably had over 10 explosives in the pass game last week. So explosives for us are just passes over 15 yards, and if we continue to be efficient in the pass game and get those, that was the goal. We can try to force the ball down the field all we want, but if we put the ball in our kids' hands to make plays, we expect them to try to do something with it. And we don't always have to throw the ball over 30 yards or over 15 yards for us to get an explosive pass. That wasn't a concern for me at all in the game. I think we were pretty efficient in the pass game and specifically in the play pass game that caused a lot of explosive passes.
Liam, what's been the message to the O-line this week? I know there were a couple sacks there that hurt you guys, especially late in the game. And when you look back at that, was that more on them or kind of what you do it? Or?
It was probably a combination, and it was also a combination of the quarterback and the running back. They're all involved in the protection. Our O-line, running backs, and quarterbacks are all involved with the protection. And we fell short from a number of different places in terms of the protection. When you throw the ball 49 times, you're going to get hit, and you're going to let up some leakage and some things that way. I would say that Will kind of got out of the pocket a little bit too early on one of the fourth downs there to Josh, later in the game. And then our running backs got to creep up and pick up one of the pressures so we don't get immediate pressure right up the A-gap. We need to help the offensive line. We have other people that are involved in protection, whether it's the running back or the quarterback, understanding where the pressure is coming from and how to react to that. So I would not put it all on those guys up front, and I could have helped them out with a little bit of screens and some things to maybe, take the pressure off.
Sometimes there's a game where a player just does things and he gets a purchase and it's just a clear team leader. I'm assuming Will was already kind of a team leader anyway, but the type of game he had. What does that do to help his resume just with his own teammates?
It's huge. I think that the guys have been behind him for a while now, but when you see him just throw his body around like he does and just jumping and leaping, and I'm, like, please stop. But you can't stop him, and that's what the players, I think, really respect about his game is that he's not afraid of contact. He's going to lay it out on the line every single rep. And that's just something that I think gains more and more confidence from his teammates. It's a big factor. It's a big factor in playing this position. Because when you have those type of players that can extend and make plays with their legs and aren't just running out of bounds or sliding, when I wish you would, it definitely earns your teammates' respect, specifically on the other side of the ball. Obviously the offense is what he needs to lead, but it does help in terms of getting the momentum and the defense's juice and those guys respecting him as well. I think it's a big factor.
Gary Graves.
Leo, what kind of changes did you make or tweak with Chris Rodriguez's running style? You seem to have the ball tucked in higher as opposed to lower. You feel like that kind of helped him be more effective in that game?
I totally agree with you. I mean, you saw him get up even a few times after getting tackled, and he still had it up here. And that was just a huge emphasis. Anytime, you come off a game where you put the ball on the ground as a back, the emphasis is high. And we've been emphasizing ball security since we had the 4 fumble game against South Carolina. And we had done a better job. And you could just see Chris's mentality last week, and it started on Monday. Coach Stoops made a great point to Chris. It was his focus, his laser focus, the way he was attacking holes last Monday really kind of set the tone for the week that Chris was going to have. And he was a man on a mission. I mean, I think he was averaging like 4 yards after contact, something ridiculous. And, we weren't as clean inside with some things, and he was a man. And I was so proud of the way he played. And he led us really along the way in terms of getting the thing going. Him and Smokey really just set the tone for that first drive of us running the ball and being successful, and it really helped open up the play pass game and some of the play actions.
Adam Luckett.
And you said earlier in the season this offense wasn't clicking yet, but when it does, it'll be special. Was that Tennessee game, even though I know y'all didn't play perfect, was that kind of something you'll point to? 35 first downs, nearly 100 plays, great third down conversion rate, across Tennessee scoring, I believe, 9 times in 11 possessions and scored 42 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot closer. It was much closer, and that was the message to the guys yesterday was, look, guys, there's so many good things that we did in this game. Unbelievable team, playing with chemistry, all 11 playing together, did some great things in some areas that we practice every week, right? First and second downs, third downs, and red zone. We're 5 for 5 in the red zone, 70% on third down, and obviously moving the ball on first and second down enough to get 35 first downs. But where we fell short was end of half, end of game. And that falls on all of us as a unit, myself included. It starts with me, and that's where we fell short. And that's what's great about a game like that, because we can coach off of it. And we can emphasize the end of half, end of game just as much as we emphasize third down and red zone. And that was on me. That's my fault for not being good enough in that instance and helping them out. But I do think that that's something that we need to emphasize more throughout the week of practice on offense and put ourselves, myself included, as a play caller, in that 2-minute situation more, so that when it does come up and we have to go in a game, because it will happen again, that we're comfortable with it.
Larry Vaughn. You're on mute, Larry.
When Wandale transferred here, exactly what were you expecting from him? Has he exceeded, not exceeded, kind of what you thought he would do?
When I first got to talk to him, I knew that he was a different kid in terms of the unique ability to have an upper level dialogue about football, about scheme, about concepts, leverage, all that stuff. He's a total gym rat, and he's exceeded my expectations because of the toughness factor that he has. I mean, he's in there cracking on safeties in the run game, laying out, getting whacked, getting back up. He's just a total competitor. And that was the part that I thought, it showed up at Nebraska, obviously, with what they were doing with him schematically. I knew he couldn't be soft if you would put him in the backfield. But I didn't know, because we didn't go live too much in the spring. You don't know the type of dog that he is. And that was the thing that I think has showed up, getting into the season, is that kid's an absolute dog.
Is he a better route runner than maybe what you know?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. He can run the tree. I mean, there's not a lot of routes that he can't run, that he's not successful with. I mean, we were able to get him on some individual cuts last game off play action. a couple in-breaking routes, outbreakers. I mean, the goal wasn't even to go into that game and get him as many targets as he had. It was really to spray the ball around. And, it was probably one of the games I went into thinking I didn't have enough going to number one. And then the ball just finds his way, and other guys were able to contribute and make plays, but ultimately our dog, made a lot of plays as well.
Jeff, comment?
Hey, Neil, you got a few offensive linemen dinged up right now. Going to be missing one for the rest of the way. I'm just kind of curious, do you have to make any adjustments based on that, or is it strictly kind of that next man up?
It's a little bit more of that next man up. I mean, Austin Dotson and Quentin Wilson will play at the right guard spot, and that they've been getting a ton of reps all throughout the season in practice. Austin Dotson's played a lot of football here. Quentin's played a lot of football here. So I have absolute zero reservations about the play calling or what they can do versus what Eli could do. Those guys, I have full confidence in them to be able to go in and compete at a high level and play like we need to play to beat Vanderbilt. So no tweaks, no issues that way. It's just about those guys getting the opportunity to go play and have some fun.
I'm sort of curious if I can ask one more.
Yeah.
Does it seem like he did a decent job sliding out?
Did.
Tackle?
He did. And he kind of swung all throughout training camp, and we swung him a lot. Coach Wolford does a great job of moving them throughout practice, even if they might not be planning on playing that position in the game. Things happen, and things happened Saturday night where guys had to come in and step up and make plays and contribute, and Horsey did a great job of moving out the tackle and giving us a chance to win the game. I thought he did a really nice job. So kudos to him for being prepared, and kudos to Coach Wolford for being, for getting those guys prepared.
Monty, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to kind of tag in on what Jeff was talking about. Of course, they asked, want to know how difficult this is to create chemistry, the cohesion, I guess you could say. You lose particular starting guys who are out of the lineup, and also talk about it looked like being the tag team reflect around back to people and go in and how ready is he?
Yeah, those guys are all gotten a ton of reps, like I mentioned, and the chemistry part, that's a good question, Lonnie. That's a good point in terms of building the chemistry. And the one thing I'd say is that, Austin Dotson and Q have played a lot of reps together, in games. Like, they've played last year a lot, maybe not as much with this starting five this year, but they've played a lot of reps together. It's such a tight-knit group of guys in that room. That I think that they just naturally have some chemistry. And sometimes bringing in somebody else provides a spark. It's like the sixth man in basketball. A guy come off the bench and provide a spark and can get some reps and give us a little juice and a little different, physicality maybe, or athleticism, whatever that player contributes, we welcome. And I think, Flax is a guy that's continuing to get better, and we need to continue to get him on the right track and get him a little bit more reps, but he needs to take advantage of the reps when he does get in. But I do feel good about those guys as a three-man kind of rotation of guys that need to get some more reps.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.